90% of startups fail. You have heard that statistic before. But here is what nobody tells you. Some of the most successful companies in history failed first. Twitter, Instagram, Slack, each of these billion-dollar giants was built on the ashes of something that did not work. And the secret behind each of those pivots follows an identical playbook. Today, we're going to break down that playbook step by step so you can use it in your own business. Chapter 1. The Graveyard We Do Not Talk About. In 2005, a small podcast company called Odeo was building something ambitious. Its founder, Evan Williams, had already sold one startup to Google and was betting everything on the future of podcasting. The team worked for months, raising money, building features, growing their audience. Then, in the fall of 2005, Apple dropped a bomb. iTunes integrated podcasting natively, for free. Overnight, Odeo's entire business model was obsolete. 3 months of runway left. Investors wanted their money back. The team was demoralized. Williams called an all-hands meeting and made an unusual announcement. He told the team that Odeo was finished. But instead of shutting down, he gave each employee 2 weeks to hack on any idea they wanted. No constraints, no roadmap, just pure exploration. One engineer, Jack Dorsey, came back with a sketch on a napkin. A simple concept, a public status update, limited to 140 characters. Something you could send from a flip phone. Williams thought it was too simple, too small, but he let the team build a prototype anyway. That prototype became Twitter. Within 18 months, it had exploded at South by Southwest. Within 3 years, it was one of the most visited websites on Earth. Odeo was dead. Twitter was worth billions. Chapter 2. The App Nobody Wanted. In 2009, a Stanford dropout named Kevin Systrom was building a location-sharing app called Bourbon. It was named after his love of bourbon whiskey and was inspired by Foursquare, the hottest app of the moment. Bourbon let you check in at locations, make plans with friends, and share updates. Systrom raised $500,000 from investors, hired a team, and launched. Nobody used it. The app was too complicated. It tried to do too many things at once. Check-ins, meetup planning, photo sharing, comments, likes, all crammed into one confusing experience. Users downloaded it once and never came back. Systrom and his co-founder Mike Krieger did something most founders are afraid to do. They opened the app's analytics and just watched what real users actually did. One thing jumped out. Nobody was using the check-in features. Nobody cared about the meetup planning. But the photo filters, a tiny, barely noticed feature buried in the app, were getting used constantly. People were spending minutes, not seconds, on the photo editing screen. Systrom and Krieger did not iterate. They did not add features. They deleted everything. They stripped Bourbon down to its one working component, beautiful, simple photo sharing with filters. They renamed it Instagram. 8 weeks after the relaunch, they had 1 million users. 18 months later, Facebook bought them for $1 billion. Chapter 3. The billion-dollar mistake that paid off. In 2009, a small gaming studio called Tiny Speck was working on the most ambitious, massively multiplayer game in history. It was called Glitch. The game was beautiful, imaginative, deeply weird. A world where players climbed inside giants, farmed butterflies, and meditated to gain skills. The founder, Stuart Butterfield, had already built and sold Flickr to Yahoo for $25 million. He was back for another swing. Glitch launched in 2012. It flopped. The game required too much imagination from players who just wanted action. User acquisition stalled. Retention was terrible. After years of development and millions of dollars, Butterfield shut Glitch down and sent personal apology emails to every paying user. But during the years of building Glitch, his team had built something else, a real-time internal messaging tool that they used to coordinate across 5 offices in 2 countries. It was fast, searchable, and organized by channels rather than by conversation threads. The team had grown so dependent on it that shutting down Glitch did not feel like losing everything. It felt like discovering what they had actually built. Butterfield pivoted the entire company to that internal tool, renamed it Slack. and launched it publicly in August 2013. On the first day, 8,000 companies signed up. Within 24 hours, that number doubled. Slack became the fastest-growing business software in history. Salesforce eventually acquired it for $27.7 billion. Chapter 4. The Pattern Behind Every Pivot. 3 companies, 3 failures, $3 billion outcomes. And they all followed exactly the same pattern. First, they encountered a hard wall, a moment when their original vision was clearly not working. Apple crushed audio. Bourbon's users ignored the core product. Glitch failed to find an audience. Each team faced the same choice that most founders get wrong: double down or abandon ship entirely. But the great pivots did neither. Instead, each team did something counterintuitive. They looked inside the wreckage for the thing that was accidentally working. At Audio, it was Dorsey's napkin sketch. At Bourbon, it was the photo filters. At Tiny Speck, it was the internal chat tool. The pivot was not a wild leap into the unknown. It was a discovery hiding inside what they had already built. Second, they cut ruthlessly. Instagram did not keep Bourbon features alongside the new photo experience. Slack did not launch as a gaming company that also had chat. Twitter did not continue trying to save audio while building the new product. Each pivot required total commitment to the new direction, even when it felt like giving up. Third, and most importantly, they listened to behavior, not opinion. Users did not tell Systrom to build Instagram. They showed him, through their actions, what they actually valued. This distinction is everything. What people say they want and what they actually do are almost always different. The founders who win are the ones who watch the behavior and ignore the noise. Chapter 5. What this means for you. If you are building something right now, the lesson here is not that you should hope to fail. The lesson is that failure contains information that success cannot give you. Every dead end, every feature nobody uses, every product that lands with a thud, these are data points. And the founders who learn to read those data points, who stay curious about what is accidentally working inside their failures, are the ones who eventually win. The next time something is not working in your business, before you pivot randomly or give up entirely, ask yourself one question: what is working that I am not paying attention to? The answer might already be in your hands. If you want more deep dives like this one, stories from inside the companies that changed the world, told without the hype, subscribe now and hit the bell. We release a new story every week, and the next one is going to surprise you.